Hey now, everybody. Well, here we've made it to game 3 of T1 versus G2, and T1 have won the first two games. This is G2 with their backs up against the wall in a game 3. So, here we go.
In the games that they won, they did win them all.
Yes, exactly.
So we have,
It's one of those things
again,
I kind of looked at the
T1 banning Lucian, Wukong, and Ari.
see that pressure starting to mount, in particular on players like
And we have
He is still
G2 banging Gangplank,
There's a lot of pressure
Gwen,
on his
and
shoulders
LeBlanc.
because It's not just him playing in his first international semi-final. It's the weight and responsibility of G2 versus T1. And anyone that's been a fan of League of Legends knows about this rivalry that has been building over the years. And I can imagine that pressure is really starting to weigh on his shoulders. So we'll see if he can step up and mount up in what will be a very difficult task to overcome.
So we made it. We made it to the end of the series. We've got this one last game. Can ruin Christmas if you want to see the end results. Maybe you don't want to yet. Maybe you don't want to till the end.
When G2 are at their best, it is because Caps is enabling them. Early Nocturne feels like we might be getting dive. We might be getting aggressive.
There's that important Nocturne that teams want against T1 to counter Faker. It's just an instant counter to take him out.
Feeling like a big priority pick from Yankos. An opportunity for a Twisted Fate to come in as well. You know, the turn the lights on, turn the lights off composition. I very much like that. It's going to be Xayah, certainly sticking with comfort here on T1's side, and with 2 games in the bank, you can pretty happily just play with what's worked thus far. They're not forced to make any adjustments.
Looks like Xayah had a really low win percentage at this point.
Something like that. If Mona wants
Hey now,
we'll see what he's thinking.
And I was going to
is
say
the
that
volume good, loud enough?
Desire just makes so much sense, right? Not only has it worked so very well, but it's something that we've seen consistently work well as an answer to lots of champions jumping on my base. So with the Leafs in there, you also have more disengage from T1, and for me, I think that we're just seeing a lot of.
I'm sure a lot of people don't even like this pick ban phase. They think it's boring, there's no action, but to me it's actually exciting.
And I think T1 is feeling very comfortable with what they've got.
And this is the first time Orin has actually been left up. They banned out the Ari this time around because Caps, yes, his scoreline wasn't as impressive, but he was really having some great moments in that last game, so they weren't willing to give that over. And now MF, Orin, Nocturne, that is a lot of engage. That is a lot of dive to really look to fight. I wonder, would they go Renata again?
We had
Renata
Lee
was their
Sin
answer
last
to what
game on
was,
red side.
An early kind of dive style composition from G2. First time around, they do in fact lock it in. I love this as a pick. Xayah plus Renata has to be one of, if not the best.
Here's, yeah, I think I misspoke on the last draft when I said Macaulay and it was Ari. But anyways, yeah, this is the game I remember now where Faker got to pop off style and play Akali and just bully both side lanes.
Have to ban Nautilus if they don't want to, because we've seen Renata has been used consistently across the globe as an answer into the champion, so they can get rid of some of the other more nuance. They can ban away the Rakan. I think they can consider the Pike as well if they considered it a problem. Maybe they don't after the first game. Maybe they think that it's perfectly fine, but they can actually choose to leave the Nautilus open, which while offering a lot of crowd control won't have that say will give them still a strong 2v2 match. Yeah, and
so G2 don't want to deal with Yone again, so they ban him. T1 bans Nautilus and Rakan.
I guess is the thought is Nautilus will be safety banned anyway.
Could be Gnar again. Gnar was their top lane bin last time when they wanted to go blind tank. You know, that is kind of just like a standard option. That's an amazing matchup against Orin. But I'm really curious to see Zeus again being pushed further kind of down the pool here. And does he have a really aggressive pick? Aatrox is also something that's just super popular that you can use as an answer. This was really popular in NA. Jace is fine as well.
I feel like Jace has not the greatest of matchups into the Ornn specifically, but
it is Gnar. Yep.
Yeah.
So they leave up the Gnar. Like last time around, they did ban that as the top laner. This time, more worried about the Kennen.
No, we didn't see any Aatrox at MSI.
And it is going to be Gnar.
No Kennen either.
We'll have to see how he can actually handle that matchup.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that Zeus is very, very comfortable on. He debuted on
Zeus likes to play Kennen.
Extraordinary performance in
At
his
least
first
from
game.
the games I watched in spring LCK.
And then Zeus had a few less inspiring games after that last year, of course, in 2021, before he found a lot of stability. But this is
So
certainly something.
this is the game 3. This is like G2. Their backs are up against the wall. It's do or die. You're going home. So they got to play their best stuff. There's probably some cards they've held on to the entire tournament that they got to show them now. Like Zoe had Nocturne, MF. Ornn gets picked when you want to win. You're down to a game 3. Usually one of the teams pick Ornn.
Along with the shielding and the utility that Karma provides, it offers a little bit more scaling towards the side of G2 as well. The big question is, how will Faker now
I don't know about the range support. I think you gotta have a melee. They T1 get away with Renata, but they're T1. And Renata is, her W is just game changing.
I mean, it is in the LCK. We love just pick and Lee Sin and Akali together. No matter how things have changed.
So we got our sheet. We got our team comps here.
Love this champion as well, but this is feeling like a bit of a flex into Zoe because this could be difficult, especially early.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he can actually play that out. A lot of these range matchups can be difficult in the early levels for Akali, but you go into second win, you start D-shield.
Maybe Akali is good into Zoe. I don't know. I don't know those mid matchups like that.
Really bad, and I do think they have a lot of power here. Especially, they could even go double Comet here if they want. You start MF plus Q with Comet on Karma. You get the slowdown. It makes it very difficult to actually dodge that Karma poke.
Okay, so my list, you guys probably don't even like my list anyways and think it's annoying.
This one is probably my least favorite from T1. The Akali, I'm gonna trust Faker,
But this,
right?
when you're reviewing a game, it gives you, this paperwork gives you a starting point. So I find it very handy.
It's more like when I look at the comp in its entirety,
Okay.
I don't see how this T1 comp functions without the enemy engaging onto them. The thing is, while Nocturne is typically dive, you have Zoe, you have MF's ulti, you have Ornn's ult can be used as a ranged engaged as well. Like, there's actually a lot of distance that they can use, which I don't think T1 have many tools to close that gap outside of a good Lee Sin flank or an arm flank. So I'm a little
I just mislabeled. It's confusing me.
and they're very reliant on G2 kind of coming into them and being the proactive team.
And I will say, you know, because
So we got our normal fan out that the
early game dominant, if you get lead, it's
teams commonly do is fan at each jungle entrance, and then their mid is in mid.
Winning your lanes, well, T1's a pretty good team to be able to do that. And as far as the Akali pick, you know, in my eyes,
Yeah,
there's
anything
just a lot of
weird?
squishy
No
backwards
Doran's
for
blade in this
G2.
game. Both
Zoe,
bot lanes
MF,
have the long
as well
sword,
as
the 3 health
all very
pots.
squishy,
I think I
and
brought
it
it
is
up in
actually gonna be
the
common MF, so I was thinking
EG
it might go
RNG
towards this.
series
It's
because
super
there was
lane
a
focused.
like
You
one
start
weird
Comet,
game
you
with a
start
Doran's
Eve.
blade,
It is gonna be airy
or
and
maybe they were
exhausting
using Doran's
because there's
blade
Akali
and
that you
there's
just, like, have to.
a weird
So
game
you
where
can't go
they
ignite,
use
so
the
it's
long.
not
I don't know,
full
but
on
here
that,
we're
which
seeing
would've
the
been
back to the long
as well
swords
at
again,
Ignite. But this
which
is a very strong 2v2.
uh,
G2 should have
I think it does have end up having more sustain and lean with the health pots, and then you go back and you have Vamp Scepter. Unlike Doran's blade, you have just one health pot. Can't really sustain that well.
Matchup as far as the early stages of the game. So being able to play around that bottom side won't
So kind of a standard start in this game. T1's starting on their red with a leash. Nocturne's Janko's starting on the G2 blue. Blue column. Blue camp. That's what we'll say. The blue. In my notes, it's what I call it. Is you gotta write notes, come up with names for each of these spots to remember. Blue's blue.
For sure, and I very much agree with Zale that when you're in a Akali and you look at those champions across the board, you think,
kill that.
I can kill all of them. Yes, exactly. And all you need is one good flank, and we've seen how great T1 is at getting that vision control, setting up for these objectives. So again, I'm always going to default to trust when it comes to Faker. I'm just excited to see how he actually makes this once the flash comes in.
So they, Guma and Carry have the level 2 power spike over G2, Flacket and Targamas. So that's a time where they can trade all in and have a really good chance of winning. So Carry ends up using his summoner spells. And we got Targamas's flash.
Is going to now not have that escape option as this lane continues, so expect a little bit less aggression from T1 down here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Nocturne can't really do that much till 6. He can come into your lane and spook you a little bit.
Could look for some sort of a repeat play, but T1's bot lane getting very aggressive here.
Doing the jungler thing you should do, be down in the area where you're pressured.
Playing this type of a combo because Karma under her tower is so easy to actually deal with. But when you are getting pushed in, it becomes very difficult for the enemy AD to dodge your Qs because you know when they're going to step forward for the last hit. You throw the mantra Q out, it becomes almost impossible. Plus the slow there from MF. But if you are getting shoved,
of course, I
in,
mean
it's
he's
just
got
so much
other.
easier to stand
He's
with
got
the minions between you and the Karma.
2 lanes pushed up into the enemy's turrets. So.
I will say though that in terms of the early laning phase, you also have exhaust cleanse versus heal ignite.
So I don't know what happens here, but through the magic of fast forwarding, we can get through this pause.
A hard contest because they also know at level 2
looks like they had to remake the game.
That carrier can provide is something that can
right. Many of us that watched back then 100% remember. It's like they load onto the rift and you're like
beat them.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So
I think that is really what was so special about G2 coming onto the international scene and showing everyone that it could be done.
And I mean, if you want to like go back through the history books, back in
I'm normally watching the mini map.
G2 getting solo kills onto vacate.
Owner got a Scryer's Bloom off into the Blues territory.
It was such a dramatic change for G2 back in 2017. Even though T1 did end up winning, it was kind of like the beginning of so much change.
And T1 could be punished right now because they don't have any flashes.
On the precipice of finding themselves as the victor once again. Caps looking for a kill onto Faker.
Bubble is going to go down as let's see whether Faker finds the right spot. He doesn't. He's going to flash into the
Yeah, I remember that now. That was ridiculous what Faker did. His name's Faker. He's good at faking people out. That's what he does. He uses the fog of war to his advantage. Like a lot of times he'll act like he's recalling back to his base and then roam the top or bottom.
6 years ago or something, it was like, well, that looks cool from that guy that was playing in Reddit.
It's the thing in solo queue where you literally just like, I can out-juke them by staying in specific spots because you expect them to flash in a certain
Owner gets T1, the River Vision, which is really good to have when the dragons... Well, this one it doesn't matter, but the bottom one when the dragons spawned, and then or the herald spawned, so you can see. Very important to have the scuttles.
If we saw this from Caps' point of view, you would fully understand, right? You know, Caps going here, and he's hugging that wall. He's going to hit him here. He's looking for the ignite, so he knows he's against the wall. Exactly. And then he flashes. And from there, you're saying, of course he's flashing to his side. 100% he's flashing to his side.
And then he thinks the Fake is flashed and then E'd into the Baron pit. And you can't blame Caps.
He had a teammate, you know, Zeus was pushed up, so he could have helped Faker if he had to.
Not quite level 6 just yet. A little bit of an opportunity here, but Jankos understanding.
So we got Zeus hit 6 and his ult is down already. He used it.
It does look like really, really kind of crazy. You see at the same time, Caps is way up in farm.
Yeah, I was going to say,
so
like,
Jankos is just praying and hoping that he gets level 6 from a minion or something, but he's probably not even close.
Because when you're down a bunch of farm and then you get solo killed,
there's a lot of fighting going back and forth in the lanes in this game. The lanes keep going back and forth.
So I want to draw attention to what Faker is doing right now, because we talked about the fact that Caps doesn't have TP, and Faker recognizes that in order to back or running ignite, you have to be very specific in your base timing. So Faker
so Jankos still is just hoping and praying he gets 6 from some minion kills in his lane, or in his laner's lane. So we got an exhaust that was used. Caps' ignite. Vuma's heal was used.
Not quite enough of the feathers, and Flag is going to have to flash. Gets himself out to safety. Still 0-0 on the kill score.
Yeah, but thankfully for T1, it does go well for them. You know, forcing out some of these extra.
No one's valuing the first dragon.
Pushing away from Caps, who was not able to fix it. T1 had the extra member there, Carrier there first. So Jankos was coming to help him push it out, but then they see Owner there, and then Carrier's there, so you can't actually reset it. Faker goes for this all in, and just bases with the wave pushing towards him, which is going to even up the farm a lot. If we can get eyes on mid lane, there's going to be way more minions for him to farm. So
there, Jankos finally gets level 6, so now he's...
much closer than it was.
One thing about Nocturne players, they think once they get that ult, they got to use that ult as soon as possible, and that's not really the case. The Renata W almost saved Guma. There's Zeus using his ult again. Owner used his flash. These are things, again, keeping track of in timestamps in chat. Jankos flash. And then Owner gets level 6 from that.
It's a great punish on the missing flash that they forced out in the jungle earlier there on, but Owner making good on his earlier mistake, and it makes up for it. We can watch this one
Okay, what happened here again?
Jankos quick 6, he's going to go in.
And this is some of the early game impact that we wanted to see from Jankos, able to instantly use his ultimate, recognizing that the bot lane of T1 is just far too overextended. Carrier does invest the flash. Jankos thinks he can get that kill, realizes the safeguard is there to keep Carrier alive, has to disengage, so then Owner realizes, hang on, I can actually kill Jankos, chooses to flash back in, and Flackhead, he wants to fix this wave. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't have the assistance needed, and I think it's debatable. Arguably, he should have just gone back here, but he believes the rest of T1 has reset, and he ends up getting punished for it.
So, okay, going for Herald. I don't know who started. G2's trying to stop them from doing Herald. Yeah, let's relook at this scene again. Got Ornn's ult came in. Caps landed a drowsy on Faker. And also Carrier uses ult. I just wanted to know what triggered Ornn's ult. Why did he do that? There's something missing here we didn't get to see.
Great ulti from Carrier, a lot of damage now onto Targamas and to Caps as he's just keeping within melee ranges. Now Faker just gets the Q, doesn't pick the right spot to get the ulti over the wall, but the 5-point strike is...
Guma didn't even help them. He's too busy trying to get a turret in the middle. He should have went with his teammates. They would have got Jankos and probably Broken Blade, but he'd rather push the mid turret down.
At the very least, does get a play back on bot side. Will deny some of these minions. Gumayushi though pushing in mid. T1 win the skirmish on top side.
Of course, Flackhead and Guma, they're kind of trying to... They're just asking to get ganked, and that's what they want. There's Zeus. His ult is down again. Very short ult. Oh, and I showed this before. I wanted to show it again. The Nocturne play that Tarzan does in the LPL summer playoffs last year, where their backs are against the wall, and Tarzan uses the Nocturne ult like at the end to smite the Baron, and it shuts everyone's vision off, so the enemy can't even see to smite it. And he, of course, times it well enough where he does it, gets the smite on Baron, and still has time to use his ult before it goes away and use it on somebody. But, you know, there's an example of how to use Nocturne ult. So it's just amazing to use that, think and use that at the Baron so you can't have it stolen.
As it
The point of that was like Jankos could have done that. Probably got the Herald if he used his ult. Does the kick stop his ult? Is that what's up? There's a lot going on here. And we've got Faker down here just solo pushing all day long.
Look at how quickly the gold is ballooning in T1's favor as G2 they tried to contest the Herald.
Okay, let's watch this fight again. There's a lot going on. I guess that stops his ult. So,
he kicks him away from the fear as well. He's able to
or it was too late.
With, doing enough damage to secure the Herald and then carry him.
Okay.
While he does drop, look at how much he's invested.
Carry had to W himself and died.
He's full HP. He's forced to disengage. Caps only level 7 to the level 9.
So what I wanted to see was what triggered Ornn to ult, but we're not going to get to see.
They thought they could force that play. They didn't have the help.
So T1 get the Herald, and then they make a good Herald push and at least get the first turret. So they're already like 5k gold ahead of G2 in this game, 10 minutes or 12 minutes in. Yeah, Ornn's ult again. I don't know if maybe they're trying to just make desperation plays at this point.
Over the wall. That is going to keep him alive here, but T1, it feels like they've just come alive in the last few minutes.
I just love how T1 is actually pushing the pace of this game. They know that Nocturne wants to fight only around ultimate, so Owner's saying, no,
this game, like I've said, I think you should try to end the game before 20 minutes. That's a good goal because the enemy can't surrender till then. And T1 pretty much do that this game. I think they try to do that every game. That's their goal.
With that initial skirmish where they got that pick onto Caps. The thing about Akali is with Sork boots,
got a Scryer's Bloom off.
That's kind of where you're at a point where you can look to force these small skirmishes. And
in the blue jungle.
Sure, in lane it's not great, but when you're able to pair up with your jungler and kind of go for these 2v2 situations, that is really.
So I don't know what to really point out here because there's such a big gold lead in all three lanes. I guess all three lanes are winning and shoved into the enemy side already. You know, what is there to... I mean, that's exactly what you want to win a game. So T1 is showing everyone a picture of how to win a game before the enemy can surrender. So this is the blueprint. You push all three lanes in and you can get it done before the enemy team can surrender at 20 minutes or close to. T1's getting Dragon. I don't know really why. It's just something extra.
As Knockup does come down onto Gumiushi, of course, their first of the tournament was a very large lead as well, which G2 were able to come out ahead of. And it was with things like the Ornn that now G2 have for themselves, as Caps was looking for Gumiushi. Good ignite to go down there, but
Targamas gets ignited and has to use his flash. Gumas had to use his heal to stay alive. And then we've got Faker that's going to solo Flack it off in the top lane, solo. And this is what you want to do. You want to have two bullies in the side lanes so you can farm the top and bottom, mid-game, late game. And you want champions like Faker's Akali here that can just 1v1 anyone, so it takes two members of the enemy team or G2 in this instance to even stop Faker. No one solo person on G2, for example, can 1v1 Faker. Same thing with Zeus. So that's the blueprint, is you want a top and mid lane that can solo and bully and get away.
control. Look, they're pushing all 3 lanes on the map right
I need to go further in depth. My energy's a little low, I think. This one. So Zeus had to use his flash, get over the wall. He's exhausted. He's a goner, right? Oh, nope. I think T1's going to come in. Wow, the Renata W saved him. That is so strong of an ability. It's a game changer. That's Carrier's job, is to keep Guma alive.
It's just bullying at this point, isn't it? They can't even get the 1 kill. Carrier arriving in time for the bailout.
So Caps gets a good drowsy.
It's just been the owner show. 10 out of 11 KPs running everywhere.
Gumayusi is going to get taken down here most likely. I mean, I've said that a few times. He does have flash, and so he is.
And somehow Guma gets away, and Faker's gonna TP over here too. And this beautiful. I put this in my. I have notes. I haven't even really used them throughout this series. This series and the series before. But I put in the work. I'm not trying to fool anyone. So it was where Zeus had to be on the side in Mega Gnar form, and he just comes in at the right time to make a play with the ult. But he was off in the jungle just hanging out there in Mega Gnar form. And so this is Faker's show-off game. He's getting the style at home in Korea.
T1 is taking advantage of it. Pick after pick, play after play. T1 refuses to slow down with their aggression. They are constantly going for skirmishes. They are consistently outplaying G2, and they are looking to secure their revenge and make their way back to an MSI final.
Just looking incredible.
So 22k to 35k.
Almost 1,000 per minute. League of Legends that we have played.
And that's where like one team's sitting on 2 items and the other team's sitting on 1. That's pretty much what I see. 2 items, almost 2 items, almost 2 items, 2 items. See, when you play Akali, it's hard to keep up with that CS goal like I talk about of the 10 per minute. So they're going to get the second Herald uncontested. T1, that is. And they've got G2 has objective bounties on the map they could be claiming.
I mean, he has been amazing, and we've gotten to see many times over why Carrier was
Zeus just hangs out in Mega Gnar form. That's the thing about Gnar, is he's difficult to have in the right form at the right time. And here Zeus does it twice, has the right form at the right time. And what, yeah, that was what, like a 3v1 or 4v1, and he, or was it all of them? Yeah, just gonna 1v5 and get 2 members. But he's sitting on that 2 item power spike. 2 G2's 1.
Will they play it safe? Will they play it controlled? It's 17-3.
And this is an example too of how you use Herald. You can just take every turret down if you use it right. That's not really that possible in pro play though. I realize that. But they, T1, get a good advantage every time they use the Herald.
Getting a sub 20-minute win against G2, who held that record. An incredibly dominant performance from T1, and it felt like that coming into this game.
So I don't really know what you really do on the map to be G2 and try to come back. I guess start trying to get objective bounties, getting turrets.
Doing this once again. We've been seeing it all year long. The promise, the potential of this young player. But he basically isolates into
The
two
whole
on
team
one.
was there.
He's able to
2,
secure
3,
one
4.
kill. He secures a second, and while he loses his life, the benefits.
Pretty good to be able to 1 versus 5 and get 2 takedowns. Being a little sarcastic there, I mean, it's really good. There's Jankos farming in his jungle, and he's got to have 2 team members helping protect him so he doesn't die. It's a really bad feeling when you can't farm in your own jungle.
And sometimes not even one. In the case of Broken Blade, they're just so far behind. It's almost unthinkable to try to conceive of how they could come back.
Yeah, it's a very, very difficult
And
prospect.
Faker's over here solo pushing mid. All of the summoner spells are basically up, and the ults. Let me see stopwatch. Don't see any stopwatch. But I'm sure like Faker's gonna come in and flank behind is what he's wanting to do. If you're a Kali, you want to flank in behind. Yeah, see the carry is ult, and then it makes them so a Kali can get behind him. And Zeus has just been amazing this game. 1, 2, so he got 1, 2. 2 of them in the wall. Nora's ult. And he's also teleporting over here so the minion wave doesn't die. So they can finish the game off. I could have went more in depth with stuff in this game, but I mean, it was 29k to 43k. I think by this point G2 kind of just gave up. And they did much better than expected. No one even expected G2 to win LEC Summer or LEC Spring. So I'm sure they're gonna come back in LEC Summer and be another level. They gained a level or 2 at MSI. So that's it for Game 3 of the T1 versus G2 series. So now we get to work on the finals, which is probably the big piece of the pie that everyone wants any VOD review from, is the finals, or the final series, not the knockouts that I did, but I did all of them, so I wanted to make VODs. So I will see you at the RNG T1 finals of MSI.